Hi, welcome to a new video dedicated to a new brushless compact racer. This is the HGLRC XJB 80 and it's a mini 80mm brushless racer. This model comes after the 75 version and in practice it was not a fantastic machine. A lot of problem about drift effect was reported. With this one we have a completely new design, and in terms of electronics we have a Pico BLX F3 boards, some very strong 20 ampere 4-in-1 ESC BLS, D-Shot 600 ready, and max peaks up to 35 ampere, so no problem to support, for example, 4S LiPos. That's great. We have some 1104 motors spinning at 7500 kV, should be more or less okay for 4S configuration. We have the basic 600 CMOS IO FPV camera, 48 channel, 25 milliwatts, no surprise. Okay, and this model comes directly with a 3S battery. Let's open and discover this new bundle. Okay, so let's open it. It's a basic regular box, nothing special, no specific branding. So we have one set of props, some 40mm, 50mm versions of 2-inch, okay, pentablades, and they are quite robust compared to the little bit less flexible, should be more durable compared to the 4-blade version of the Racer Star. So should be pretty good in terms of thrust and stability, and to remove the jello. Only 4, no spare one. That's the first drawback, I would say. We have these small bags. We will see in a few instants what it be used for, but what you will be able to find in it's a micro USB left 90 degrees extender, so it will be very useful to connect the machine to Betaflight. What we have a battery. It's a 3S battery. It's a 35C model for the discharge rate, 550 mAh, ending with a GST connector, balancer plug, and if you need some exact weight, this one scales around 47.6 grams, and if you need some exact dimension, let's give it. So it's about 62, 63 by something around 26 by around an 18. Okay, so not so bad. At least it's come directly in 3S. Usually for such kind of system it comes only into S edition, but thanks to the strong ESC, directly a 3S, and it's also possible in 4S. That's great. So the last item we can find in the bags, well, not exactly associated with the props, we have a set of 8 M2X screws. Okay, they are exactly, if you need some exact dimension, some 7mm variant. Okay, an basic instruction manual, just a piece of papers, where it is the same for the 75mm version, and you have very important instruction you have to read carefully, because out of the box this machine is not configured. It's amazing, nothing is configured, and you have to follow at least this step. It's pretty important. So what you have to follow first, you have to indicate the correct alignment of the board with a yaw of -45 degrees, pretty important. Okay, the LED strip are not configured, and even more, the motor direction are not correctly done. It means that the solder on the main ESC board, the 3 wires exactly in the same sense, not taken into account the sense of the rotation. So you have manually to inverse 2 motors over 4. Okay, so it's basically motors are number 2 and number 3 to be inversed. Okay, and also the video signal is not set, and especially when you boot your machine, the output power is 0 milliwatts, so you can't have any video display out of the box. So you have at least to press one time more than 8 seconds to set at least the IO camera to 25 milliwatts. You have the list of the 5 supported band. You have the raised band in the last one, so it's a 40 channel, it's not a 48, and here it's pretty important. So by default, this machine is supporting D-Shot 600, but since it's a special flight controller board, you have to assign differently the resource of the motors. So by default is done, but if you plan to upgrade the Betaflight version, you will have to copy paste in the CLI interfaces for command, and don't forget to save the last one. Okay, you can do it also manually, but it's good to do that. Be sure to not forget it when you want to flash a new version of Betaflight. So let's discover a little bit the machine. So no props and pre-install because we have only 4, but how to install it? So it's pretty easy. You have we'll make a close up. You have two as you can see, you have 2 sides of the props. Okay, and check this part, especially here, and the other side. As you can see, you have more hole, and this is a top face. You have to install the props. Okay, so don't be wrong. Okay, there is 2 possibility, and you have to see these 2 small hole on the top of the machine. So this one is the counterclockwise props associated with the counterclockwise motors. So you have to install it like this, and it should be much more easy to insert into the 1.5 millimeters shaft section. If it's hard to insert, it means that you are not on the right size, the right direction of the prop installation. So you can do it in the other 4.1. So we understood the trick. So very easy, and like this, and I will install the same. If you reverse the prop side, you should observe much more jello in your video. So if you notice that it's a lot of jello wobbles are present, maybe things to change the orientation of your props. Okay, so we have some problem with the last one with the camera around it. Okay, so then standalone this machine, I will have to add the 4th prop, M2 screws, and already 75.2, and you have to add around 1 gram, okay, a little bit more. So it's around 77.5 grams, okay, a little bit less by removing the plastic bag. With the battery install, we should exceed the 100 grams, okay, to be more precise. We should reach around 125.1 grams. So for a 3S configuration is acceptable. It's, for example, close to 20 grams more lighter than the real IC Orange 85. I recently reviewed, much more heavy and bigger in my point of view. So this one should offer a little bit more thrust, okay, should be more powerful, and the flight duration should be improved. That's a great point. So let's discover a little bit the machine. We have some prop guards, and if you need some information, the thickness is around 1.65 millimeters, so not so bad. It's not 3D printed. Well, at least it's very well done. Okay, should be resistant because it's one unique piece of, okay, and except maybe here, okay, it could break for a frontal crash. I find this model more flexible and more durable than the real IC model, Orange model. So I'm not too afraid to break it, but be aware it won't be indestructible for sure, especially for indoors. So be aware 125 grams for indoors application is a little bit too much in my point of view. Anyway, let's continue. We have a lower structure, and next here in 3D carbon element, and I will give you the thickness of it. So for the lower plate, it should be around 1 mm 50. Yes, so it's a 1 mm 50 shaft, and the upper should be more thinner, around 1 mm. I cannot use my tools because it's the prop guard is blocking, but it's thinner, so it's probably 1 mm. So the question, can we fly it without the prop guards? In fact, the prop guards is jailing and reinforcing the general structure. So it means that if you remove it, the arms will offer only their 1.5 mm section. And since it's a 3S, the arm will probably bend, you can see, already with the prop guard installed. They are flexible, so with the thrust of the motors they will be probably bended, and they will probably introduce a lot of jello. So the prop guard is also useful not only to protect the props but also to introduce extra rigidity on the structure and remove some part of the vibration transmitted by the motors, for the 3S motors. Okay, so you will have to fly with if you need FPV jello-free video feedback. Be aware, one important word, the motors as well, the prop guard, are only attached by these two M2 screws. Be aware, for mine, all of them were almost unseated. Okay, I had to fasten them very carefully, and I strongly advise to add also a little drop of glue to secure completely, okay, the installation. It's true for these motors, prop guard screws, and it's true also for the camera mount here, the two inner here, this one and this one here. You will have to tighten, and in generally you will have to tighten all M2 screws. Be aware, if whatever you decide to fly without the prop guards, they don't provide any shorter M2 screws for attaching the motor. It means that if you use directly this one without the prop guard, you will damage the motors, because the shaft of the screw will be in contact with the copper wires of the brushless motor. So be aware of that. Don't use these M2 screws here. If you decide to remove the prop guard, you will kill your motors. We have laterally a GST connector. For 3S or 4S, I would prefer to see an XT30 connector. Okay, it's a little drawback. We can see here all the connection directly soldered, so directly visible. Okay, for example, here you can see the video camera I/O here, or this probably more the FieldSky receiver installed directly. So please add, if you want, some liquid electrical tape to secure everything. Such kind of product is very useful. Okay, the camera mount, okay, the I/O is installed with an angle, not adjustable, something around 10-15 degrees, okay, attached with this lateral rubber band, no extra given in the bundle. It's a 600 TVL camera, CMOS, with 1 lux of light sensitivity, 2 buttons, if I'm not wrong, somewhere, or 1 unique, sorry. So it's a 40 channel. So how to use it? If you short press on it, you will cycle between the 8 frequency inside the current selected V band. If you press more than 5 seconds, you will cycle between the 5 supported band. Rest band is supported, and it's very important, if you long press more than 8 seconds, you will be able to select one of the 3 output power, if I'm not wrong. So you have the choice between 25 milliwatts, 50 and 200 milliwatts. So that's great. And the 4th choice is 0 milliwatts. So by default, you have no indication, no output power. Don't panic if you don't see any FPV signal. The problem is the rubber band is hiding the small LEDs, as you can see, display here to indicate, for example, your current selected band, your current channel inside the band, and the output power. So you will have to push, okay, during the selection, the I/O camera to guess the number here. Okay, don't be wrong. We have here a buzzer and 2 lights. By default, the lights are turned off in Betaflight. So you will have to configure it. Okay, by default everything is turned off. Okay, if you want to assign a light during turning, you have to. I will show. Okay, and let's continue to discover. We have on the rear left the small micro USB board associated with the Pico BLX F3 board, and it's not pretty obvious to insert a micro USB cable, but thanks to the micro connector here, you will be able to attach like this, to attach the insert the micro USB extender like this. So do it without the props, it will be a little bit more easy, and especially for the first time we need to configure some stuff, but believe me, it's not so hard to insert. Okay, I will remove these props. Okay, but anyway, like this, Yes, it's much more obvious. You have to press a little bit the first time, and now you will be able to insert a micro USB cable to USB to plug to your computer. One remark about the receiver we have laterally, it's a FieldSky version where you have the bind button here. Unfortunately, the USB can't provide enough power to power the FieldSky receiver. It means that to bind this machine, you will have to give the power through the battery. No choice while pressing this button. Press this button to enter into the binding mode. Good news, it's assumed to offer the RSSI in the telemetry. Okay, that's pretty good because we don't have any built-in OSD with this machine. That's a drawback. We have a strong 4-in-1 20 ampere ESC, but not built-in OSD on the Pico BLX boards. That's maybe a little drawback for this machine. Okay, so let's continue. The antenna guard is really well protecting the cloverleaf antenna. It's a 4-leaf edition. I really appreciate this bar here because on the Aurora there was not, so it can break here by a compression, so the carbon could break. And thanks to this bar, I would prefer maybe an aluminum or a nylon one. The structure is much more rigid, much more solid. So to resume, we have strong 20 ampere BLLE supporting up to 4S. The motor should support up to 4S, that's great, but no built-in OSD, no possibility to adjust the orientation of the camera, and by default anything is configured in Betaflight. Actually, this machine comes with Betaflight 3.1.5, not the ultimate one, so I will basically show fast the basic configuration, but I will immediately install the last Betaflight version, and we have to do 2 extra jobs. 3, make the yaw assignment correct to -45, reverse the sense of rotation of 2 motors thanks to BLLE suite to BLLE configurator. And we have to also to copy paste this 4 instruction in the CLI to make to perform correctly the mapping from Betaflight superior to the version 3.1. So it should offer much more punch and thrust than the Realtek I would say Urange 85. Okay, so let's go now to show you how to bind this machine. Okay, check that it's possible to retrieve the RSSI through telemetry. Then after I will give you probably the basic information for Betaflight and install immediately the last Betaflight version. Okay, so let's enter into the binding procedure. So it's a little bit tricky because you have to press the bind button here. Okay, keep it pressed while powering the machine. So do it with your thumb and your index on this hand while try to connect the other plug. Okay, like this, the GST connector with the other hand. Should be possible. Okay, keep press and then press and select your FieldSky D8 and press bind. Okay, and if everything is okay, you have the light of the RX stopping to be blue, and after a couple of seconds we resume and start to flash. I hope you will be able to see. So now it's done. You can disconnect everything, the quadcopter, and turn off the radio, reconnect everything. Okay. Okay, so actually the blue light of the receiver is flashing, and as soon as I will turn on the radio, it will turn to be solid, as you can see, the blue light. And let's check that we have some RSSI displayed. Sorry, actually I don't have any. So it's assumed to offer some RSSI. I don't see it. Maybe a drawback of this receiver. So first drawback I see from it is not advertised correctly. Anyway, it's like this. Now let's check a little bit the default Betaflight and install as soon as possible the last build of Betaflight. Okay, so let's connect to our Betaflight. And let's immediately check the current version installed. So we have a PicoBLX board flashed with the 3.1.5 is not the ultimate Betaflight version, and I strongly advise in any case that to save a jump of the default configuration. But as I said previously, no specific job have been done to configure this machine out of the box. It means that it's not possible to just bind your receiver with your radio and fly it. It's not possible. You have to do some extra work. But anyway, let's save the default Betaflight jump, and we will check that. For example, I will now go to the configuration of the port. Okay, and we will see that, for example, our physicalized receiver, okay, normally is associated with the UART port. The UART, exactly the UART 2 or 3, if I'm not wrong, is written in the instruction manual. Okay, but it's not configured at all. As you can see, no serial ports turn on. And let's, for example, confirm that the S-bus don't have been absolutely not pre-programmed, so no rotation done. So this machine is absolutely inflatable out of the box. Okay, that's a big drama. No specific flight mode, nothing has been done. Okay, no specific PID settings, no flight mode, nothing. No, for example, the LEDs are not programmed, etc. So definitively, I will strongly advise, and I will show how to upgrade the Betaflight version and configure everything from scratch. Okay, so let's go to the firmware flasher panel. Let's select the correct flight controller board. So it's a PicoBLX like this. Okay, and I'll select the last Betaflight versions, 3.1.7 actually currently. Let's load the firmware. Okay, and actually I didn't press yet flash firmware, but as soon as I will press flash, you will see that I will have an error on the port because he didn't find the correct DFU driver compatible with the PicoBLX board. So let's check that. Okay, but in the same time, please open your manager system. Okay, actually you can see that we have a COM associated with ST Microelectronics, and as soon as I will press the flash button, there will be a new device, a new USB controller will appear here. Let's press flash. Okay, and let's go immediately here. You can see you can find STM device in DFU mode. So we will have to right click on it and update the driver. Okay, and say I've got a driver installed on my computer, and you will have to install your favorite Zadig driver. Okay, for the Taiwanese one worked fine, a compatible DFU one. So yes, I've got it on my computer, and I will select on the list of device, and I will click on this STM bootloader here, and I will press next, and it will install. So now I will disconnect the USB. Okay, reconnect it, and now when I will press flash, it should work. You have the DFU, and you can see that it's flashing. So no problem to flash this last Betaflight version. Verifying, and the procedure is pretty quick. I strongly advise to disconnect one more time the USB, okay, and reconnect it to the computer. Now you will be able to press connect, and you should now have the last Betaflight version. Okay, so no more well, you will still have some strange character appearing, but we have the PicoBLX 3.1. Okay, so we have to set up everything. Okay, so let's start with the port. And we will have, according to the instruction manual, to turn on the serial, so probably to the UART 3. Okay, so if not the 3 is UART 2, we have to press save. Okay, And now we have to reconnect. We can directly, to make a short, I will try to configure immediately the receiver. So how to do it? Let's go here, and we have to select the ASBUS, and here the ASBUS here. So serial, type of receiver, and to a specific ASBUS version. So let's press save and reboot. Okay, let's now connecting, and we will immediately, okay, sometimes it needs to unconnect the USB, okay, and connect. And now we will go to the receiver section, and we will have to turn on the battery, turn on the radio, and we can see that we have the control. So it was yes on USB UART 3. Okay, so let's disconnect now the battery. We have now a working receiver. Let's continue to configure everything. So go to the configuration, and we have, it's pretty important to apply the correct alignment of the board. So it's written minus 45 degrees. So we immediately save. It's very important parameters. Okay, don't forget it, and go return to the configuration. So it's done. Here by default, like all Betaflight, one-shot 125 is pre-selected. It's very important at this moment. So if you turn on immediately the D-Shot 600 right now before converting the motor 2 and 3 via Bell LED configurator, you will have some problems. So keep actually one-shot 125 option active until you reverse your motor rotation sense. Okay, so we will do it later. So we have to select a little bit of the onboard. So maybe the warning cell voltage and minimum are not pretty well adapted. I strongly advise to more adapt something a little bit higher, lower. So something around 3.2 and 2.9. Okay. Okay, and in terms of PID frequency, we can update to the 4 kilohertz because, okay, and let's check the CPU usage. Okay, so I will press save, but in the same time I will also turn on the LEDs. Let's strip here because it's not done yet. Okay, and what we can turn on, nothing special. Okay, let's save and reboot. We press connect. Okay, so as you can see, the CPU usage with 4 kilo is just a little bit increased, but not so much more. Everything sounds pretty good. So in terms of fail-safe, everything is good. Drop set by default. We just decrease its values. Okay. Connecting. One more time, and let's go to the receiver. Okay. No, PID settings first. And we have the default Betaflight settings. Okay. So I will apply some change. I used to do in typical value, but I want first to try the default PID settings of the Betaflight 3.1.7. I just want to increase my rates with my favorite values, so something around 800 degrees, and something more linear for the R command. Okay, and I have to decrease to something with 33 if I'm not wrong. In terms of level stress, I would only apply 30. Okay, and sounds to be good, I would say. Okay, and let's go to the receiver mode. I will turn on again the battery. turn on my radio. As you can see, I've got some perfect, and almost my channel sounds to be well centered on 1500, as you can see, no problem. So I can go above 1900, so I can hum. Okay, so no problem. And the first time you are doing that, you are arming the motors. Only 2 motors are turning, so the motor 2 and 3, as I say, are not spinning around. So it's very surprising. So don't be afraid. The first time we have to apply the following command, we have to type later. Okay. So in terms of everything sounds okay. In terms of auxiliary, I will use this one for the buzzer, the aux2, and the aux1 to select my flight mode. But I want also to apply a dead band. Okay, so I will apply here 4 and 4. I will save, and now let's go to the mode. I will use the angle mode with the aux1. One is in position, horizon within the medium, but I will use also the anti-gravity, and also want to use the air mode with the anti-gravity for both horizon and acro mode. Okay, and I will use the buzzer in aux2. Okay, and for these 2 values I will save, so I can control perfectly horizon with anti-gravity in air mode, and air mode only for acro, and I'm in angle mode. aux2 turning on the beeper. So it's great, working fine. You can save. It's done. So we can disconnect the battery, turn on the radio, and let's go more to the LED strip. We have no LED strip down, so we can press wire drawing, and we can press 1, 0 here and 1 here. Disconnect, remove from the wire drawing mode, and let's go to the 0, and then we apply as function mode in color. Okay, and we want more indicators. Yes, mode in orientation, so it's more for color, and we should have indicators here. We press indicators, and for this second one we select color, and it's still an indicator. So it's useless to turn the Larson scanner effect with 2 lights. It's a little bit useless, and it's useless also to turn on the throttle. Maybe it's up to you. You can also associate with the same LEDs the throttle effect. So anyway, I will just indicate the turning here. I will press save. So now it will be good. And if you want to go to the adjustment, I can remember where is it. You can turn off the LEDs with a switch if you want by LED low here. You can slide to specific aux3 or aux4 if you want. So now it's done, and what we have to do is to write the specific command. It's written in the paper, so I will type them. So it's resource motor 5 known. Okay, do the same with motor 6, and we will do now for motor 1, we will do A01, and for motor 4 A02. Don't forget to type save. Okay, so I will reconnect, go to the motors, for example, or to the receiver, whatever, receiver, and I will reconnect the battery. And now I will hum. Okay. So now all the motors are spinning, no problem. So now you have to know if the motors are spinning in the right direction. So you will go to the motor section. Be sure that all props are removed, it's pretty important, and you will click on yes. And you will manually, for example, spin the motor here. So this is the motor 1, so this is the lower right, and effectively it's spinning on the right direction, that's great. Let's check now the motor 2, should be the front right. And this one is not actually spinning in the right direction. So we will have to inverse in Betaflight the direction, okay? Let's now do for motor 3. This one also is clockwise, is not a counterclockwise, so we will have to reverse it. And then the motor 1. So this one is okay, it's a real clockwise. So basically, the motor 2 and motor 3 are still clockwise and should be counterclockwise. We have to reverse them in a BLLE. So now we have to go to a BLLE suite or BLLE configurator to reverse these two motors. Okay, I will use more BLLE configurator, but exactly the same job with BLLE suite. So press connect. And then at this time, at this moment, you have to connect the battery. You won't hear the ESC music, okay, it's normal. Just 3 beeps and then press read setup. Now we have the ESC 1, 2, 3, 4, and for the ESC 2, okay, and the ESC 3, we have to reverse the sense of rotations. I will also activate the brake and stop features, okay, and now I will press right setup. So now it's down, we can disconnect. I will go to the Betaflight and press connect here. Then I will now go to the motor section. Okay, be sure to be prop off. Okay, and I will now turn the motor 2. And now the motor 2 and 3 are effectively counterclockwise motors. So now everything is configured and should work fine. When we reverse correctly the motors, we can now select one shot and the D-Shot 600 option. Okay, so and press save. And we can obviously check that is working fine. So go one more time to the motors. Turn on the battery. And check that all the motors are spinning correctly, and is the case. So no problem with this shot, okay, and the correct orientation. So what I want to show you before the real demo flight is how to configure the FPV I/O module, especially to select at least 25 milliwatts and the video frequency and the frequency band. Here is the small procedure to select your V-band, video frequency and the output power. So be aware, by default, this machine don't output any FPV signal. So let's make the demonstration. I will turn on my FPV receiver. I will turn on the quadcopter prop off, and I will run the I will turn on the transmitter to avoid the bathing. Okay, and I will run the scanning. Okay, on my way. You will be able to see nothing because no output power. So don't panic, it's normal, and we will be able to see that. Look that Hope you will be able to see. It's not very obvious, but we have a 0 display. Hope you look that. We have 0, so it means that 0 milliwatt is displayed. So how to proceed? We have to long press on the button here more than 8 seconds. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So now I will be able to output 1 bar. Hope you can see is 25 milliwatts. Okay, and I have a 1 display. So now when I press 1, it's 25 milliwatt. If I would press 2 or 3 times, I would select 50 or 200 milliwatts. I will keep 25, maybe 50. Okay, should be something in the middle. So I will continue to long press one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and now I will press one more time. I've got 2 bars. I have set to 50 milliwatts. Okay, wait a couple of seconds. Now, as you can see, the default frequency is E1. Okay, so I want to select, so it's clearly this one, this 5865. Okay, so what I want to do is to select more the E4. Okay, so I will long press now 5 seconds to select the band. 1, 2. Okay, and the band is now can be selected. I was too long, so I will do it again. It's not super trivial, so okay, that's really a shame. So don't break the antenna. 1, 2, 3 is flashing. I will press. Okay, and then I can press now. 3, 4. Okay, my FPV monitors. So I selected the frequency. Now I need to select the band. I will press one more time. 1. No, I select the output power. It's not this one. So I will press one more time until the letter flash. Okay, B, E. So I should be in E4. So let's check that. For me is A. This one, as you can see, I've got the signal. It's the E4, no problem. So it's a little bit tricky, but not so much. But the video signal is here, and I set to 50 milliwatts, so a little bit more powerful. So shouldn't dry too much on the battery. So now it's time to make some real demo flight. Hi, welcome to the first demo flight of this XJB 80. So just a few remarks before to take off. The first one is concerning the battery strap. As you can see, pretty short, and versus time it will be there will be more and more gap, and probably mid-flight one day the battery can be ejected, so it can be a problem. I strongly advise versus time to change the battery strap for a longer one. And the second remark is pretty important concerning the M2 screw here. After each flight, thanks to the vibration transmitted by the motors, the screw tends to be pull out. Okay, so you will have to tie to fasten them regularly, and the best option is to add a small drop of blue locket, for example. And I will say, if some drift are observed in angle mode, for example, to perform the soft mount mode, okay, or the tape soft mount by installing some black one. Okay, it's really important, and be aware, because if you tie too fast, too strongly the X screws, you may little bit damage the insulation inside the motor. So be aware of that, and this is probably my first main concern about this model. So I will start to fly in lost condition to show you how strong the punch out, and continue in more in FPV. Let's go. Okay, so I will connect the GST connector. Okay, and I will turn on my radio, and I will start to fly immediately in attitude. Okay, and I will record here on my 3D goggles if I can, if they are working. Yes. Okay, the signal is here. Okay, it's recording, and let's take off. So it's a little bit noisy, but as you can see, the left and right LEDs are working. So let's see a punch out. Oh, it's powerful. No problem at all. Yes, pretty nice. Pretty stable with the Betaflight setting. Flipping well. Yes, it's more powerful than the orange 85 I reviewed some days ago. Nice flyer, by the way, I like it. You can hover from 40%, a little bit less than 50 at least. Flying is fast, in altitude is super fast. Some wobbles can be healed, maybe by the prop, but it's super stable. Let's see if drifting, yes, it's drifting a bit. I will go now in angle mode. As you can see, it's drifting, so the soft mount mode will be a must to do if you plan to fly it more in angle mode. But in acro, any problem. Okay, I will land now and continue in our FPV.